morning, everyone. Once again, welcome to Benning Auto Parts. If you've been following us on Facebook, you've noticed that each month we're highlighting a service or a product that we offer here at Benning Auto Parts. Last month, the month of August, we showed you about 4 steps of engine balancing, how we balance a crankshaft for the customer from the very initial first spin to doing the drilling and right to the end where we do the finished up product and get that thing down to 2 grams plus or minus for you. So what we're going to do this month, as we said earlier, each month we're going to highlight a different service or product. This month our feature product is going to be building a 239 Ford Flathead. So basically this is a 49 model Ford 239 Flathead. It's out of a 49 Ford sedan. We are going to put a 4-inch stroke crankshaft in it from Scat, and we're going to do H-beam rods. We're going to do high performance pistons for it. So actually what we're going to do is we're taking this 239 and we're going to turn it into a 274-inch stroke Ford Flathead engine for the customer. Now we'll highlight this build in steps as we go along this month, probably doing 4 different segments like we did the balancing. The very first step that we're going to do this morning is balance the crankshaft. Like I said earlier, this is a Scat 4-inch stroke crankshaft with H-beam rods. Got a bob weight of about 1,600. Let me look and make sure what the bob weight is. The bob weight on this, actually I'm wrong, the bob weight on this is 1,492 grams, which is, it's a pretty light bob weight, but that's because the bore is only 3.312 inches. 4-inch stroke, 3.312 bore. So the stock crank, I believe, on a 239 is 3 3/4. So we're going to a 4-inch stroke, which is a 1/4-inch stroke, which gives us the additional cubic inches that the customer is looking for. So we're going to go ahead. I've got this thing, I've got my bob weights done, I've got my flywheel mounted, I've got my balancer mounted, all the bob weights are on, and we're going to just step aside here a minute and do a real quick spin on this crank assembly and see where it's at and see what we've got to do to get her balanced up for the customer. Just 1 second.
It was the summer of 1931. Henry Ford had just built his 20 millionth automobile, a 4-door Model A sedan, and sent it on a cross-country tour. The stock market crash of 1929 was hard on the auto industry. Competition was keener than ever. Ford's old nemesis, Chevrolet, had been closing the sales gap for some time. Then in 1929, Chevy came out with a new 6-cylinder engine, and its sales skyrocketed. The new Chevys were not only faster and smoother, but had the styling to go with it. They were beating Henry Ford at his own game, domination of the low-price field. By the middle of 1931, Chevys were outselling the Fords, and the king of the automakers knew he had to do something about it. On July 29, 1931, he made his decision. If it was cylinders the public wanted, he was going from 4 to an 8. But he didn't tell anyone about his plan, not even his closest associates. Instead, he abruptly announced the closings of 25 of his 36 plants, laying off 75,000 men. They would stay closed, according to Ford, until conditions improved. But in his heart, Henry Ford knew it was all over for 4-cylinder cars. His ace in the hole was the work being done in secret for over a year in this quiet building on the grounds of his Greenfield Village Museum. It was Thomas Edison's historic old invention laboratory, brought here from his home in Fort Myers, Florida. For years, Ford had tinkered with an X8 engine that he hoped one day would power his cars. But it was heavy and complicated. Road tested in Model Ts, it was found that the bottom cylinder banks were too close to the ground and the spark plugs fouled easily. It was an idea that didn't work, but Henry Ford seemed to find inspiration in failure. Why not design a simple, lightweight V8 engine with the block cast in a single piece? A one-step, low-price V8 would be a breakthrough in engineering, an accomplishment to rival anything he'd ever done before. The men had been told to do the impossible, build a complete V8 engine from a single casting, and test it. It was an engineer's nightmare, something many had dreamed but none had dared. The first prototype shows the evolution of Ford's V8 engine design. The starter was mounted above the bell housing, and the exhaust manifold wrapped around to the front. At last, after millions spent, came the day the company was waiting for. On March 9, 1932, the first Ford V8 came off the line. As his son Edsel and members of his staff gathered for the event, Henry Ford triumphantly stamped engine number 18-1. The 18 stood for Model 18, the V8 passenger car.
All right, here we go. It's pretty heavy. Sometimes we got to give it a little jump start there. Here we go. It's a very heavy flywheel assembly on the back of this thing. So, as you can see, we're doing our initial spin. We're going to spin at about 300 RPM to start with, just kind of to see where we're at and see where the weight's got to be removed. All right, so we're at we need 228 grams off the back, and we need 152 grams off of the front. So let's see where we're at on the back. So we're plenty on the back. We've got this old big counterweight right here we can drill in on the back. And then on the front, we got plenty to drill right in here. So that's kind of where we're at. We've got our starting positions, and we're going to go ahead and get this assembly set up to remove some weight and get it balanced to spec. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in touch. Thank you.